Good evening everyone and welcome along to TTML F2. We are here for Season 7, it's round 9 of the championship as we take on the Japanese Grand Prix from the Suzuka International Circuit. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream as always on a Thursday night, and joining me in the commentary box, he is back from an escapade into F3 last week. It is of course IKRT, well it's not IKRT Storm, but it's Storm anyway. Storm, how you doing?
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to TTML for Formula 2. And it's nice to be back in F2 after having a small vacation trip to F3. I have to say, it was nice to be back with the F3 guys. Obviously, having just a season and a half with them, but nothing beats Thursday nights with James and F2.
Definitely not indeed. I think we have started the stream a little bit late, so it seems like the drivers are already readying up, of course, into the stream, or into the lobby, I should say. Of course, I've got the stream up on the left-hand side of me at this moment in time. Neymar, by the way, was saying in the Discord, he messaged me privately there, that is the internet for Tom, Bray, Ray, and Juan Rocco, all red bars. For me, it's only Juan Rocco that's a red bar at the minute, so we'll consider that, obviously. If there's going to be any connection issues from the drivers and they start leaving, of course we might end up restarting the session like we did last night in EML in Portimao, but we are getting of course into the latter stages of the season. And of course what happened last week in Imola, well, it's a bit of a mixed affair, to be honest. In Imola last week, of course, it was Noziek who took the win on his debut, Yona in second, Simply Superman in third, and as a result of that, Yona still leads the championship and extended his championship lead for 11 points over Simply Superman. Both Aston Martins, by the way, are clear in the Constructors as well. Jorgen third on 107 points, Bray in fourth on 101, Yona on 184, and Superman, by the way, on 173. Then Jorg, then Bray, Nathan Clark in fifth on 97, Jonas in sixth on 95, Matt Tibos in sixth on 94, then Nick Houston, sorry, I've read that wrong. Jonas in sixth on 95, Matt Tibos in seventh on 94, Nick Houston in eighth on 91, Yana in ninth on 87, and Tom in 10th on 83 points. It was Bray that I missed out in that. Bray 101 points there in fourth. Yona though out on top. Simply Superman 11 points behind coming into tonight. Storm, how do you think it's going to play out tonight?
I have to say, obviously, Japan, such an iconic track. It's a track that I think a lot of fans have missed over the COVID pandemic, because it can always throw up a very spicy race. Rain can happen here. Obviously, we don't know what the race will be for weather, but yeah, they've got the first few corners. The curbs are very tricky from obviously a racer's perspective. You can spin on them. 130R, that can be quite a bit of an overtaking spot, especially into that very late hairpin of a corner. But yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting one. Maybe a lot more battles here through the track as well, especially that 130R. It will either catch you out or you can get the best overtake possible. But yeah, no, it's a fantastic track all round, and definitely tests the driver's abilities as well.
Yeah, definitely will, of course, and obviously this is the only figure of 8 track either both on the F1 calendar and in fact in the actual world in terms of the racing circuits that F1 has ever been to. Neymar, the first man out on track though. He's coming in towards the hairpin at the top of the hill, pretty much at the highest point of the track here actually in Japan. But Neymar, of course, has been going quite well. He's in 13th position, 58 points for his name. Alpine, of course, 6th coming into the Constructors. Aston Martin out on top on 267 points. Haas in second, 188. Mercedes third, 184. Red Bull fourth, 172. Alfa Romeo in 5th on 165, Alpine in 6th on 152, Williams in 7th on 143, AlphaTauri in 8th on 81, McLaren in 9th on 65, and Ferrari in 10th on the nil point. That's because, of course, Simply Superman went to Aston Martin a couple of weeks ago, and that is why, of course, Aston Martin are now clear in terms of the championship standings as well. But right on board with Neymar, he's coming through the final couple of corners now, on through the Casio Triangle and on the run towards the line, and hopefully this is going to be a clean lap from Neymar and he doesn't end up spinning or invalidating on his lap. So we'll run on board then with Neymar around this 5.8 kilometre circuit here in Suzuka, down in towards turn number 1, and then through the right hander, of course, of turn number 2, and then through the slithering snake S section or the centre S's coming through 3, through 4, misses the curb through 4, and then to the left-hander of 5, and then to the left-hander of turn 6. It looks it looks like he's struggling, to be honest, on that setup so far. Comes through now the Dunlop curve, and then in towards, of course, the Degda section, out on track, and into 32.5 through the first sector from Neymar, and he's now coming through the Degdas, through Degda 1, through Degda 2, and then on the run-up in towards the hairpin, of course, where Kvyat famously went off in 2014. He got caught on the curb when it was, of course, a wet qualifying session turning dry back then in the Red Bull. But Neymar on the run down, of course, there's the MotoGP out on the right-hand side if they were to come there for the motorbikes. Neymar now down in towards Spoon Curve, my favourite section of the track list, through 13 through 14, and then pretty much flat out until you get to the Casio Triangle, which is the hard-braking zone into 16, 17, 18. The other Red Bull, by the way, I think that's Jorge round, coming through turn 3 and 4 in the S section, so Jorge's already round. Neymar, though, 12.3 in the middle sector, looking quite quick, I've got to say, on this lap time. We should be seeing 27s, I think, tonight in terms of the early lap times, so Neymar coming around the final couple of corners, on the run to the line. I think he's just going to fall shy of a 27, becomes the line, 28.9 to start off the night, but I think we'll get considerable improvement throughout the session.
Yeah, early laps coming in, and Neymar setting the first few times, as well as I believe there's a Red Bull right behind him. That is one Rojo with a 35.9 on the mediums, as I believe James has just seen something that has caught his eye, and I believe it is QRT Jonah with a 28.4. I tell you what, if Neymar spin, if he'd have spun in that S section, I think we could have been calling him Neymar Spin tonight.
Yeah, Neymar Spin instead of Neymar Meg. I think that's got a good ring to it, to be honest. But Yona out on top, 28.4. I mean, what do you expect of Yona, to be honest, in qualifying? He's been so quick recent weeks. Of course, took pole position in Imola last week as well. And he had Noziek then trying to challenge him. Ferrari, of course. Noziek was obviously reserved, not making it here tonight. I believe he's on holiday, if I'm not mistaken, as Noziek. So it's nice for some at the minute. But Yona out on top, Neymar second, Ray in third at this moment in time. Noisy, by the way, is on a lap. Yo came into the pit after spinning through the first sector, but his teammate Noisy on the run up the hill in towards 130R. He should be looking around Neymar at 11.9 through the middle sectors. Bray now goes quickest, so Bray puts it up there. Nick Houston there in third. Yona might have had a really scrappy lap looking at the lap times that's coming in, but Noisy coming around the final couple of corners. This might be the first 27 of the night. Noisy around the final corner on the run to the line, falls shy, but he goes fourth, 28.5. Good lap time from him. Bray out on top, Yona in second, Nick Houston in third, and we're nearly 6 minutes gone in qualifying already.
Yeah, and I just wonder, looking at this track that it is in Suzuka, if you get, I think, the entry and exit out of that corner coming out of 130R, it can really mess up the final few corners on this lap, and you could lose quite a bit of chunk of time, as obviously myself being a racer, well, a league racer should I say, you can lose at least 2-3 tenths just from that one part of the track. So the drivers are really going to be on the edge here of trying to find those few extra tenths, as XL Brie does currently sit in pole position with a 28.4.
Yeah, he has got good form around here, of course. Last time he came here, I believe he was in TTML F1, which obviously I covered a couple of seasons ago. And Bray was actually up towards the top end of the field. He was in a Red Bull that day. He's in a Mercedes, obviously, now in F2. The 28.458. He's 1200s clear of Yona, who in turn is 1900s clear of Nick Houston. The top three are covered by, well, the top four, Noisy included in that as well, is covered by around a tenth of a second. Nathan Clark was on lap. He's backed off, though, through the middle sector. He's back into the pit lane. Interestingly, he, Ray and Juan Rocco on that set of medium compound tires. There's a spinner though through Spoon Curve, and that is Matt Tibos that is round. So Matt Tibos round, possibly on a down lap, and the Alpine spinning coming through Spoon Curve, and I can probably imagine he was either on a push lap there, or he was on a down lap and he's just caught the curb and he spun the car around at turn 13, and Matt Tibos there in 10th will probably be coming back into the pit lane as Yana is coming to the first sector, and I'm not sure if that is a purple first sector from Yana at all. So it looks quite good so far.
Yeah, and I'm surprised a few more drivers haven't opted for the medium compound tyre, just maybe trying a little bit something different, being turn 1 and turn 2, obviously the centre S's, being a little bit difficult for some drivers as the curbs are at a little bit of a higher level, and we see quite a lot of drivers spinning. So not many drivers going for that alternative strategy with Nathan and I believe that is Tom, EVG Tom, on the medium. So yeah, it's looking like it's going to be everybody on the softs at the moment, as Nathan has switched to the softs.
Yeah, not surprising to be honest. 8 minutes gone in qualifying. Bray out on top, Jonas second, Nick Easton third. Jana's going to be nowhere near towards the top end of the field, but I think he'll go sixth, and he does go sixth ahead of Neymar by about a tenth of a second. So good up there by Jana. He has shown really good glimmers of form in the last couple of weeks, in the last 3 weeks especially. Jana there in sixth position, 28.8, and he could match it up with the guys in the race, of course, if he is on in terms of the pace here tonight. York, by the way, has just started the lap. He's coming to the right hand of turn number 2, and then towards the centre S's of 3, 4, 5 and 6. I believe there was a Williams round in the middle sector as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think that might have been Juan Rocco on an outlap. It was Juan Rocco on an outlap, which I saw him spin coming through. I think it was the first couple of corners where he spun. But Jorg in the meantime on this lap, he's coming through the first sector and the 32.2 through the first sector, so pretty much in line with what we've seen from Neymar so far. And Jorg, I've got to be honest, Storm, has been quite underwhelming this season, given that he's the defending champion and he's got probably no chance of actually defending his crown tonight.
Yeah, it's maybe a struggle season from him, but just wanted to point out, I think when I joined TTML, Jan was in F4.
Yeah.
And now to see him in F2, the progress that that driver has made is unbelievable. Literally, he is, fighting up with some of, the top drivers in, TTML F2, and probably will be on the new game in a couple of months, knocking on that door of TTML F1. He just maybe needs to get some better results, maybe a little bit more consistency. But to be top 6 in a type of track where it is very demanding on the driver to, use their skills, use their experience, he is, just showing that a little bit of work, a little bit of, time to develop, anything is possible.
Yeah, anything is possible, definitely, and I've got to agree, Jana has been quite a revelation, but we've got to remember, of course, back in F4, it was just purely based on race pace. Of course, we've got assists and no assist tiers now in TTML, so that's probably why Jana has found himself in F2, and that's why he's 7th, and he's putting it up with the likes of Bray and Jona, and his development is nothing short of a miracle, I think. Break FM coming to the line goes 8, 28.8. We've also got lap times coming in from Nick Houston and Noisy, who've just started their laps, and in fact, Nick Houston is purple in the first sector by 1500th of a second. Kermit, by the way, insane in the chat for the top 3 predictions. Jonah, Bray and Superman for his top 3. I'm going to go slightly against it, and I know we're making predictions already. I think Ray Meader there goes 5th, so a good lap time from him in the AlphaTauri. I'm going to go Jonah for the win, I'm going to go Nick Houston for 2nd, and I'm going to go simply Superman for 3rd.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't put James as a betting man, I have to say. I think for me, top 3, I'm not going to put Nick up there because of he may have left the fuel up thing. So I think I'm going to go Jan, and I'm going to go with Jorg, and then I'm going to go with Jonah. I think I know Simply Superman, he can do it. We saw it in Australia, but I just feel that them top 3, it may be their race, their type of track.
Oh, sorry to cut you off. Well, I think you were coming to the end there anyway. Nick Houston goes top. I've just seen Jonas' first sector. Jonas had a 31.9 in the first sector. Are you actually kidding me? He is on a lap here, on the running towards Spoon Curve. He's 2.5 tenths up in this first sector. If he's around 4 tenths up in this middle sector, Jonah is on for one of these special laps that I love to commentate on. He's coming now through the left-hander of the Spoon Curve at 14, on the run towards 130R. I can immediately tell you he's much quicker than Nick Houston coming through this middle sector. It's a 1:11.6 at 3 tenths up in the middle sector, and Jonah can butcher as much as he likes the Casio Triangle. He's going to be on top by about 2-3 tenths of a second here, coming around the final couple of corners of the Casio Triangle, and Jonah on the run to the line. This will be perhaps pole position on the run to the line, 28.1, and nothing maybe is going to get close to that, but Jonah out on top, 28.1. This man can do literally everything in qualifying.
Yeah, I think a lot of us will be asking, what did Jonah have for breakfast this morning? Looks like he's had his Weetabix this morning. Yeah, the Dutch driver proving ever so much that on one lap pace he may just be better than the rest. But we can't count out the other drivers. There's still time left on that clock, as that timer will tick down very shortly, a little bit more, as I can't see it because sector 2 and 3 are showing yellow flags.
Yep.
So we just it's got 5 minutes, so it's now going to be all out, flat out, as Jonah is just gone under the bridge, and he said over the bridge then, under the bridge, the hairpin just a little bit after the bridge. That could be a possible overtaking point if you're very late on the brakes. Excelbrite, he's on a lap, also with Simply Superman, and I believe the bottom three of Matt Tibos, Juan Rojo and Tom are out as well. They're out on a lap with Jan as well. So it's 4 minutes left on the clock, and it's now going to be flat out, I reckon, for the drivers. No mistakes can be made as they get ready for the final laps here in TTML F2.
Yeah, just over 4 minutes ago, Jona out on top, Nick Houston second, Brain third. That was a really good lap by Jona. Do you know how I said we could see a 27 tonight? I don't think we're too far off, to be honest. If you can really pick up that final sector and get a better run out of the Casio Triangle, because you lost a bit of time through there, I think it's going to be a 27.9. I really do. I'm not really a betting man, but I think Jona might get a 27. Juan Rocco, by the way, is pushing on this lap. The Spaniard struggled on his first lap there, and it's 32.1. in the first sector, so more immediately, the former F1 man, of course, he runs wide, coming through Degner 2 there, just about keeps it within the white, well, I say it keeps it within the white lines. I don't know why he's not backing off this lap, to be honest, because he ran so far wide. Jona out on top, Nick Houston second, Brain third, 3.5 minutes to go, on board with Juan Rocco, who did improve on his lap, but this is his push lap, so he's got now heat into those tyres. EVG Tom, the Evora driver there, goes 12, 29 flat from him. Good to see actually Evora, of course, represented in EML last night as well. Really good, of course, to have them part and parcel, and I think they're going to be there for Season 3 as well in EML. Juan Rocco, though, in the middle sector, 112 flat, so he's around about 2-3 tenths per second off Jona's time, so in theory he's going to go around Noisy, Ray, Jorg, that sort of area, as he now comes through the final couple of corners. The Spaniard, of course, not making it as he's just invalidated coming through the final couple of corners and sends the Bollard over the wall, and actually down the pit lane, in fact, so the Bollard just gets sent flying. Juan Rocco not improving, invalidated. Is he going to get another lap in? I think he will.
Yeah, we'll have to send the I can't remember what I was going to say now. We'll have to send a complaint form and some compensation to the Bullard that we severely lost, thanks to Juan Rojo. But yeah, no, it's an interesting qualifying because a lot of the drivers, are trying to, push the car to the absolute limit. What we love. As I think you mentioned it before, quality over quantity is always preferred. As Jona is going out for one push, that maybe does he feel threatened that somebody could beat that time, or does he feel like he just wants to prove to everybody that he has that pace and he can show it? But yeah, no, it is now going to be the final laps here in qualifying.
Yeah, to answer that, actually, I do think he feels threatened by this man who I'm on board with at the minute. Nick Houston there, 28.4. There is Jona, just out the way, actually, on the left-hand side, coming to the S section, where I saw my photo, as Nick Houston gets a bit of snap of oversteer coming out of the Dunlop curve through the first sector. He's actually up on his time, so it's not too bad, even though it was a scrappy Dunlop curve. Looking quite good. Much better than Juan Rocco coming out of there, certainly. Jona out on top, Nick Houston second, Brain third. But just to finish off my point, Nick Houston there in second. I think Jona does feel threatened. Tom has retired, I think, in the pit lane, so he is now done in terms of his sessions. He'll be starting 12 on a set of medium compound tyres, one would imagine. But Jona, I do think he feels threatened, but it all depends on how Nick Houston can see it on his lap. And if Jona has got the stream in the background and he's listening to this commentary, I can tell you now, Yona, if you're listening, I don't think Nick Houston's going to get anywhere near close. Could be perhaps simply Superman, could be perhaps York that gets any close. 200 up in the middle sector, and I think Yona, from this lap, is not feeling threatened at all as he now comes through in for the final couple of corners at the Casio Triangle. There's 45 seconds left, so countdown clock definitely coming on now as Yona out on top. Nick Houston will remain second, and he will improve only 300ths of a second, and he goes second. Yona, though, preparing up for his lap. Simply Superman, I can report there was 600ths up through the first sector.
Yeah, I wonder if you're going to have a voice left by the end of this evening. Yeah, as Yona, he's trying to warm up them tyres. So...
Who's that? Has somebody stopped on that lap? Oh, Nick Houston stopped on the lap, sorry.
Oh, you nearly gave me a heart attack then. I was like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? As Yona, he's going to make this literally by the skin of his teeth, as he is now going to cross the line, and he is going to go for one more lap. The Flying Dutchman, he is now on his final push lap. I tell you what, there's a Flying Irishman out on track. Simply Superman is 2.5 tenths up, purple middle sector out of everyone, and now he could threaten his own teammate. Simply Superman around the final corner, on the run to the line, doesn't go quickest, but that is a threat to Yona. Yona's first sector, we'll see what his first sector is like. He's coming through the Dunlop curve now, in toward the Deckers, and he's 200 up through the first sector, so Yona looking good so far. Bray, though, I believe was up on his lap as well, but he's invalidated coming out the Deckers. Yeah, it's all now, no mistake, no error can be made, as, Jonas, that was a bit close for comfort. Nathan, I think that might have been...
Nick Houston.
Was it? Oh, okay. As Matt is now retired, so it's now going to be down to XL Bree and Simply Superman will go P2. So it's going to be an Aston Martin P1, P2 at the moment. So I thought I wouldn't have been saying that this season.
Yoda! Sorry to cut you off again, Stum. I'm just watching a bubble of this lap, and I'm marvelling at this lap, because this is perfect from Yona. Through the Casio Triangle, this is a 27.8. Yona ran the final corner, on the run to the line. Oh, it's 27.9. But, yeah, there you go. He's 3 tenths clear of his own teammate, for goodness sake.
Yeah, it looks like the Dutchman of Yona, a league of his own this evening. Not really something we use on commentary, but... when you're at that pace and that level, I think it is justifiable that he is literally in a league of his own. Lawrence Stroll, get on the phone. Looks like you found your man.
Nathan Clark saying man's already got the golden helmet. I'm not sure if that's because of... I'm not sure if that's related to Yona or if that's related to his qualifying. Nathan Clark there in 7th. Good lap time from him, though. Nobody was ever getting close to that lap time from Yona in the end. It's Yona out on top, 27.9. Optimus Metal saying, guys, there are more drivers than Yona. Definitely so, but we have to go on board with laps that obviously come to the end. It was right at the end of qualifying. Neymar wasn't on a lap, so that's why we rode on board with Yona there. But Yona out on top. I know I'm trying to be not as biased as possible here in F2. I did predict Yona for the championship win at the end of last season, and at the minute, it's looking quite good. But he's 3 tenths clear of his own teammate. It's Yona out on top. Simply Superman there in second. Aston Martin 1-2 as well. And a Red Bull 3-4. Good qualifying lap times by Nosy and York to be only 700ths of a second away from each other there in 3rd and 4th. Nick Houston there in 5th. Bray in 6th. Nathan Clark in 7th. Neymar in 8th. Chonas in 9th. He's only 4,000th of a second off. And in fact, actually, 1/100th of a second, covering 8th down to 10th. So the Scandinavians, Neymar, Chonas and Ray, all involved in that. Yana in 11th, Breakerfen in 12th. These guys, of course, will be starting, you would assume, on a set of medium compound tyres. Tom there in 13th, Matt Tibbles 14th, Juan Rocco 15th position on the grid. Watch out for him in the race. Yona out on top, though, Simply Superman in 2nd. And I think now, the race obviously coming, Yona is in the prime spot to not only extend this championship lead, not only extend Constructors' lead as well, but maybe to put one hand on that trophy.
Yeah, that's all about the Drivers' Championship, and obviously the Constructors' Championship is also. Looks like someone's just put at least a couple of quid in the light meter because it's quite bright. I don't know about you. Yeah, I think I might as well get the shades out, James, as looks like sunshine is here in Japan. I was expecting maybe a bit of rain, just to spice it up a little bit. But yeah, it looks like we're going to be settling in for maybe an overcast race here in Japan. So grab your beverages, grab your snacks. I would say grab some sushi, but I'm not a sushi fan myself. But yeah, it's going to be in for an epic 27 laps here in Japan.
Definitely so, and I think, honestly, Yona obviously out on top. Oh, we're getting into the formation up already. There's no 30-second countdown. Formation up is starting, though. Yona out on top. Of course, top 10 qualifying on that set of soft compound tyres. Yana, interestingly, going for a set of soft compound tyres as well. And 11th, clearly feeling that the pace deficit might be there. So, he's going for a set of softs, trying to go in that DRS train quite early on. Break FN, Tom, Matt Tibos, Juan Rocco, all on a set of medium compound tyres. That screams to me, though, Storm. Obviously, it's overcast to begin off with. I think it's going to dry up within 5 or 6 laps, and it's going to be quite sunny before we get to the end of the race. So, judging by those tyre strategies, no real threat of rain.
No, it doesn't look like there's going to be any rain. It's a shame for this type of track because rain does spice it up. And I think we've been deprived of the actual Japanese Grand Prix and seeing Yuki Tsunoda racing his home race. It's such an iconic track, I think, Japan. I think... Oh, we know Mike from F3 Comms loves this track. But yeah, I think a lot of people hate this track because of the S section, obviously the centre part. But other than that, this track is what racing's all about. You know, it's got the technical side of it. It requires the driver's skills, especially going through 130R. You know, if you're battling somebody else, it's, you know, what driving is all, well, league racing, should I say, or jet racing in general, as the drivers are coming up to 130 at a little bit more of a reduced speed, I have to say. They aren't going full throttle yet, so I'll hand you over to my commentator James for what will be here in Suzuka for TTML Formula 2, and we'll get underway very shortly.
Yep, predictive pit stop strategies just popped up on my screen as well. Lap 10 to 11 on a set of soft compound tyres. Break FN has had a collision with Tom, and Matt Tibos has had a collision with Juan Rocco. So the bottom half of the field may be slightly on colder tyres compared to the rest that have qualified on a set of soft, but all remains to be seen. Yona out on top, Simply Superman alongside. The final cars are now rejoining on the grid. There is Yona's run down and towards turn 1, by the way. We're at a 300-metre run down and towards turn 1 here in Japan, and Yona's on the outside line. You would think Simply Superman, be on the fresher side of the grid, could get the fresher start and actually pressurise Yona in towards turn number 1, but we'll see. Will the Aston Martin's duel, will it be like Senna and Prost in the early 90s? Let's find out. The 5 red lights are coming out here in Japan for round number 9 of the championship of TTML F2, and it is lights out, away we go, and I can already tell you that Yona's got a really good start. Simply Superman is going to try and pull alongside, and there's actually 3 wide in the background because Nick Houston, Nathan Clark, and Yog trying to go side by side. It's 2 wide though coming through the turn 2 complex, and it's Yona that leads the way. Simply Superman in second, Noisy in third, Yog holds on to fourth, Nick Easton was ahead of Bray into 5th position. There's already a collision further down the field. I think it's Break FN that went off sideways there in the background. Think he's recovered out the wall though, as Yana's trying to go all around the outside of Chonis as well. The Finn, the Norwegian and the Finn are going to now battle side by side and towards the Degler 2, and I tell you what, Yana's got a really good run on the outside of Degler 1, going to try and get the move done. He's forced off wide off the camber of the corner. Tom has a bit of snap of oversteering behind as well, but when Rocco gets that move done, he's into 13th, and they're actually fighting side by side up the hill. Nothing really happening up the front end of the field as Juan Rocco gets his elbows out down the inside line, forces him off track, and now Matt Tibos is on the inside line. There's 3 wide on the run down towards Sprue Curve. This is absolute suicide out on track from these guys. Matt Tibos and Juan Rocco 12th and 13th, and Matt Tibos is just let through there by Juan Rocco, and Tom forces Break FN off track as well. That's the fight for the wooden spoon, but Yona leads the way. Simply Superman in second, Noisy in third, and on settling down, apart from the side-by-side fights that we're seeing at the back end of the field, everything's been quite quiet up front.
Yeah, it has been a little bit more quiet up front. Just these medium runners, I think they don't want to be battling too hard because they want to make their progress up the order, as Jonah sets the fastest lap so far with a 32.6. So it is Jonah who leads the way with Simply Superman EMP2 and TTG Noisy EMP3.
I think Yona made a mistake coming out the Casio Triangle. We didn't see that on stream, but I think he made a mistake coming out the Casio Triangle because the gap is 7.5 tenths. Gap is now only 4 tenths of a second, unless Yona's obviously got the Casio Triangle wrong. That's the fairest thing I think we can say. But he now pulls away in the first sector. It's 6 tenths now the gap. Simply Superman now in second, Noisy in third. Nick Houston's getting on the back of Yorg as well in fourth and fifth. But everyone back in that DRS train. Even with that fighting further down the field that we saw, everyone is in that DRS train. Ram Rocco, though, he's got good pace. He's there in 12th position, the Spaniard. He's there on the back of Yana. And he's on that sort of medium compound size and gained 3 positions off the start. So Juan Rocco clearly using that F1 experience so far this season to really good effect because he's there in 12th and he's right on the back of Yana. And I'll tell you what, the mediums look like the softs at the minute because he's so quick.
Yeah, Juan Rojo just showing his pace early doors. He doesn't want to burn too much ERS straight away as he's using it now. Yeah, he just maybe one to watch out. I believe he was F3 last season with, I can't remember who it was with now, and he literally was up there at the top, as I believe James has seen something that may have interested him.
Yep, Yona got caught on the curb coming out the Casio Triangle. He gained time that time around, but he took too much of the curb. Nearly sent the car into a bit of a half spin. Recovered the car, luckily. He still stays out in front. But Juan Rocco, that pace is genuine. He's just set the fastest lap of the race on a set of medium compounder tyres. Fresh mediums to say that as well. He's on the back of Yana. And I'm just watching a ball with Juan Rocco here, and I'm thinking he's gonna maybe let these guys look like an absolute mockery. I think because he's all over the back of Yana. He's going to be on the back of Chonas soon. Obviously, not coming out the Dunlop curve. He's not going to be side by side like we saw with Yana on the first lap. But he's there on the back of Yana in 11th and 12th positions. Really the only fight I think that's going to maybe prove off into an overtake. And I think we might see that overtake now. Up the hill, down the inside, in towards the hairpin. Late on the brakes. Yana doesn't want to fight that. Juan Rocco through, the Argentinian through, and he's in for 11th. Nice move that. Yana in 12th. Matt Tibbles 7th, 13th. And look what Juan Rocco's done as well. He's got Yana out of the DRS to Matt Tibbles.
Yeah, I just wonder, was Juan Rocco well, not showing, but hiding his true pace in qualifying? Because he is in an absolute different league at the moment. He has already cleared one of the soft runners, which was Jan, through that hairpin there, on his way to the hairpin of 130R. He's got his teammate in front, so this is now going to be a team play game. I hope to think that they are in a party, talking to each other. If they have not, then this could either go one or two ways, as he is now going to get DRS on his teammate, and they make their way through to turn 1, and I don't think he's going to get the move done here. He's just going to sit back and maybe let his teammate do all the work and bring him and his teammate into a more better fight up on the other drivers further up the grid.
Yeah, I think the worst thing is, though, for Juan Rocco, the further down he is in this DRS train, the less likely he is to try and get the overtakes done. He's going to, I think, rely on the pit lane to actually come into life, and the pit stops to come into life. He's there in 11th, doing a good job. He's on the back of Chonas, still doing a good job, but he's there in 11th position in the DRS train, and the DRS train expands throughout the whole field, which is something we've rarely seen in F2 this season, a DRS train spanning throughout the whole field. Yona, leading the way now, begins to put the hammer down slightly. He's got more ERS than Superman at this point, and he's coming through the spoon curve. So I thought I saw a bit of rain there, actually, on my screen. That's just my eyesight, I think, going there once again. But Yona out on top, coming through spoon curve. Superman there in second, Noisy there in third. Bray, however, on the back of Nick Houston, has looked quite good, potentially to go for a move. The Mercedes, I think, is just intent to try and sit him behind the Dutchman. The fifth position there for Nick Houston at this point. In terms of the position gains, by the way, the top 8 have not moved a position. Juan Rocco, obviously, most positions, gained 4 positions, and Ray and Matt Tibbles have gained 1 position. Everyone else has either lost positions, or, as I've said, stays as they are, as Yona sits the new fastest lap of the race, 1:31.6, and I think everyone, maybe bar Ray and Neymar, are going to sit as they are, and Yana, in fact, is going to maybe get the move on Juan Rocco in towards turn number 1. But no, everyone just sits tight and waits, possibly for mistakes either to happen, or possibly as well for the pit stops to come into life, which will be, I would say, in around 3 or 4 laps time potentially.
Yeah, I think the pit stops will be crucial here. When do people make them? Because they don't want to come out too far down the grid, as One Rocco is really looking at his teammate here as they come through what will be up to the hairpin, just underneath the bridge. He, I think, is going to try and make a move. As he goes for the move, a little bit of wheel banging. That's I hope they're in a party chat, because I would not like to be battling my own teammate. As I don't think the other Williams wants to give that position. If that was me, I think I'd know if I had a faster teammate, I'd let him through, especially on the mediums, because he can sit there up when the drivers in front of him do make a pit stop, as they now make their way in to what will be 130R. And I suspect one Rocco will be looking for a move within the next lap, I suspect, and look for P10.
I was going to say, thinking of moves, speaking of moves, Tom was going to go for Matt Tibos, but he didn't. He backed off into the Casio Triangle. That looked all over, to be honest, in terms of that move, but it didn't happen. Yona leads the way, Superman in second, Noisy in third. The big disadvantage that one Rocco has got is Tom has now got the move done on Matt Tibos as we come on board with him in towards turn number one. He runs slightly wide. Matt Tibos nearly gets chopped off there in terms of the front wing, but the remaining 13th, 14th and 15th for now. One Rocco, though, the big disadvantage he's got is his ERS. Chonis was pulling away considerably down in towards 130R. He was pulling away 4/10 per second compared to One Rocco. One Rocco was quick in the corners. He's got to really pick his spot though when trying to go for the moves. It's all good and trying to go down the inside into the hairpin. I think this time around he's a little bit too far back to actually try and go for the move. I think he'll go for it anyways. No, he doesn't. And I think he's learnt his lesson, as Break Offender's going to go side by side with Matt Tibos into the hairpin as well and down the inside line. And that's exactly what I was going to come on to. That bit of contact there between Break Offender and Matt Tibos, that's what One Rocco did, and that's what I was going to say. He's learned from his lesson, obviously making that contact with Chonis. It's molding him into a better driver as the race goes on, and he's there in 11th, and he's now having to cope, obviously, with F2 standard driving, bar F1 standard driving, which he was doing throughout the season so far.
Yeah, I think also with One Rocco, he's going to have to be patient. You know, you want to score maximum points here, not just for yourself, but your team as well, for Williams. So he may just want to, you know, get his teammate as his teammate actually is in the pits.
It's early.
So that is an early pit stop. Maybe an undercut strategy here from the Williams team. As One Rojo, he's got nothing to defend with. He's gone wide. Yeah. He's gone off the track, and that is. Oh, is he going to come back? No. He's going to. I wouldn't do that through the center S's. That's not a part of the track you want to be doing. But yeah, an easy, costly mistake made by One. Oh, sector 1 yellow flags. Who's gone for a spin?
Tom. That's Tom.
So, yeah, I've just seen that. Yeah, literally, I think he might be using a few curse words after the race. As One Rojo, we've seen so many times this race. Is he going to go for a late move? No. He's locked up the front tyres though, as he may just want to sit there and build up that ERS and then go full attack. Maybe in 2 or 3 laps time when Jan's tyres do go off the cliff, as that was a very costly mistake. Has he gone for a spin? Yes. Oh no, he's I think caught the curb. Yeah, very well caught though. Oh, sector 2 yellow flags.
Yeah, Break Offense had a slight moment, I think, coming out of Spoon Curve as well. He's got the car running again. Ray and Neymar, by the way, a side-by-side coming through 130R. Neymar just gets out of the way. Ray's through, and he's into P8. But that is all tactical, because Neymar now is going to be on the back of these guys and is actually coming into pit lane as Ray. So Ray's into the pit lane. Going to focus on the battle for the lead, though, because Simply Superman was getting close in towards turn 1, around a 10th and a half away. Doesn't get the move done, though, and Yona waits in front for now. But the pit stops are being made, literally, as I said, 3 or 4 laps ago. We're going to see pit stops in 3 or 4 laps time, and that's exactly what we're seeing from these guys as well. Coming out on track, Nick Houston is into the pit lane, Ray into the pits, and Yana all into the pit lane, and that is because the undercut strategy is very potent around this track, as proven by Chonis, because he's gained 2 positions on Ray and Yana, and Chonis is now pretty much out of DRS compared to Ray as well. So the undercut strategy, the further you go on these set of mediums, the more likely it is you're going to get the undercut strategy working, and that is why these guys, Yona, Simply Superman, one of the Red Bulls has got to pit in, one of the Aston Martins has got to pit in, potentially one of the Williams has got to pit in as well. Obviously, well, I've just said that, and Jonas has been into the pit lane, hasn't he? Just ignore what I've just said there. But one of the Aston Martins has to come in the pit, one of the Red Bulls has to come in the pit. If you were in the Aston Martin team, would you put Yona first? Because he's got race lead and he's got priority over Simply Superman, and it looks because of his ERS, he's got to come in the pit this lap.
Yeah, I think if you are the faster driver, obviously you get the pit stop priority. So I think we will be seeing Jonah in first. But, yeah, he is in as Noisy also is in, and so is Nathan Clark as well.
Neymar, interestingly, stays out, though, in 4th position. He's got Juan Rocco chasing him down all the way down the straight. I mean, it's a second the gap, but Juan Rocco's tyres now are going to be significantly fresher than the soft compounded tyres of Neymar, the soft compounded tyres of Bray. But, of course, Neymar, I believe he started out on those set of soft compounded tyres. Yeah, he qualified an 8th. So he's still going on those set of softs, as is the front 4. Everyone else, though, on that set of mediums is going to be interesting. Nathan Glock, by the way, gone for a set of hard compounded tyres. Tom has gone, Brake FN has gone for spin. Coming through the middle sector, that's through turn 4, and he's cutting the inside of turn 5. Doing a bit of grass mowing, and that's a 10-second turn penalty. That definitely needs to get removed if he ends off this race. But he is keeping out the way of everyone. And now he's right down the back of the field. He's got end plate damage as well on the left side. So Brake FN clearly in the wall, coming out of turn number 4, where, Storm, I will let you know, I saw probably one of the best moves ever that I've seen around that section of the track through the Senresters. Schiaparelli in LOE Division 1 went all the way around the outside of 3 drivers in a DRS train around there once.
Yeah, and just like that, Japan is such an iconic track, as that One Rojo is just having a cheeky little look at one TTG Neymar, and that was through 130R, and I wonder if we're going to be seeing a move here, as the top 3 are in the pits, as Neymar pits. I won't call him Neymar Spin, as he hasn't done that yet, so hopefully he doesn't. But yeah, that is them all in now, and Neymar is also in. So the final few pit stoppers being made. Nathan on the hards, that does just indicate maybe if there is a safety car, he going for the long haul.
Oh, 3 wide coming in towards turn number 1. Noisy trying to go all the way around the outside of Nick Houston. This will be phenomenal if he can pull this move off, and he has. Noisy around the outside. Nick Houston tried to pick up the slipstream out of Simply Superman, who was coming in the pit lane. Brake FN has retired in the pit lane, but Simply Superman was coming out the pit lane there, and Nick Houston opted to go for the slipstream. Unlucky for him, he ghosted completely. Simply Superman's behind them both, and Noisy's just done a remarkable move around the outside of potentially both of them, but around the outside of Nick Houston. He had the run in towards turn 1. Absolute balls of steel going around the outside there, and Noisy's through, and he's into 5th, and as a result, he's through into net 2nd position.
Yeah, as James said, you've got to have balls of steels with this type of track as Brake FM. Unfortunate evening, didn't finish the race, and got a costly 10-second penalty. But yeah, Noisy just proving maybe he is a fan of the Japanese track here in Suzuka. And yeah, it's getting very spicy here in what will be now 17 laps of racing. Oh, set the 2 yellow flags.
Neymar's gone for a spin, coming out the spoon curve, and he's round. Luckily no damage or anything, he's just caught on the curb, I think, and spun the car around. York, by the way, is on the back of Simply Superman, potentially going to get a run in towards someone. He takes a very thin line, coming out the final corner, and look at the pace deficit that Simply Superman's got. York is closing in, but I don't think he's going to go for the move here, and the Dutchman waiting behind on the Irishman. I was going to say on the Superman there, but it's not. The Irishman there in 7th, Jorgen 8th, Bray there on the back as well in 10th. He's behind Shones, who has just dropped off this DRS train slightly. Ray, Nathan Clark, Yana all in one battle. But if Shones can really pick up his pace, his tyres are warm enough. If he's got the pace though, he can try and catch his DRS train, but I think he's going to be more reliant on drivers maybe either falling around them and making mistakes, or battling happening ahead of him. But it seems like Shones has got the pace. He's now beginning to close in once again.
Yeah, it's like a bit of a back and forth, I think, with getting DRS around this type of track. And 1 minute you can be in it, the next you can literally be out of it. As Simply Superman, he's really kind of in the middle of between the Haas of Nick and Jorg in the Red Bull. So Jorg's going to have to really close this gap up if he wants to make that overtake on Simply Superman. We saw it nearly happen on the last lap, but I think he may have just dropped back a little bit this lap, as they don't seem as close as they were last lap.
I think Bray and Chonis, though, potentially could be close down towards turn number 1, but I say that, it's 5/10 coming at the final quarter, and Bray is not going to get this move done, because you're not going to close. Ideally, you've got to be within 3.5 tenths of a second coming out the final corner. Saying that, actually, Bray risks it down the inside line. What am I on about? He tried to go for the move in towards turn number 1. That was a bit of risk and reward there for Bray. The reward didn't pay off, and Chonis stays in 9, Bray in 10, but what was Bray doing there, to be honest? He almost looked like he forced Chonis in from a bit of a mistake, but why force the driver ahead of you in from a mistake when the driver ahead of you has got warmer tyres and is trying to catch a DRS train? Because they've just been cost 5/10 of a second because of that.
Yeah, I think stuff like that can cost you time, and you know, maybe it was a little bit needless to do it. And I think, you know, if you're not wanting to lose time, that is one thing you don't want to be doing. As lap number 12, it seems like Juan Rojo is not really extending that gap now, as he's on 11 lap mediums, but Jonah is catching a little bit to EVG Tom, as Jonah is your net race leader, as the top 3 haven't pitted yet, and they will go on to the soft compound tyre around about lap 17, 16, so as I'm right on board with Bree, and he has really closed up that gap to I can't pronounce the names tonight. So yeah, I think we may be looking at a move here for what will be P9.
This should be easy. This is much closer compared to the last time around, and Bray's going to waltz past him down the straight. Literally, it's as if he just entered the race. Bray's through, he's into 9, Chonis down into 10. Yana potentially going to get a move done on the back of Nathan Clark. Nearly forced him into a bit of a mistake there, but Yana stays in behind Nathan Clark for now. All in the meantime, Jorg, Simply Superman, Nick Houston, because they were battling again, Bray and Chonis, they have lost another 5/10 of a second, and it's all because of this DRS train. They're beginning to fall over each other just in front as well. So, Simply Superman and Jorg have got to decide whether to press the button and maybe force Nick Houston in from a mistake, or maybe force each other in from a mistake, or do you hold back, wait a little bit longer, and then Bray will latch onto the back and try and use his pace, seemingly, to try and obviously get towards the front end of the field. Has to remain seen. Yona, by the way, in terms of what you said last lap around about him gaining Tom, he is gaining on Tom. Those mediums, though, still look quite fresh out in front, because they're only losing around 7 or 8 tenths a lap at this moment in time compared to everyone else. Simply Superman, though, is right on the back of Nick Houston, coming out of Spoon Curve on the run down towards 130. He's not going to be close enough for the move here, but potentially into the Casio Triangle will be, because look at the closing speed. He is going to, I think, probably go for this at turn number 1. In fact, the Irishman waiting behind on the back of the Dutchman. Yana and Nathan Clark are going to go side by side. I'm trying to pick that up on the mini-map and see who's coming out on top, and I think Nathan Clark's just about out on top. And Nick Houston actually pulls away, uses a bit of a DRS coming out the final corner, and he pulls away from Simply Superman, and it's stalemate once again as Jorg catches now Simply Superman and towards turn 1.
Yeah, as I think you mentioned, it's kind of now, you know, they've got to push Nick to get that overtake and maybe break that DRS, as Nick is looking maybe at TTG Noisy very shortly, as there's only around about 6/10 gap as they go through Degner 2, and what is he's up, no, he's lost time of around about 3/10. So yeah, Nick can't get the move done on Noisy just yet, but Simply Superman is looking for a simply beautiful overtake very shortly.
Yeah, hopefully he might be able to use his superpower to maybe put banana skin or something out on track up better Nick
This
Houston.
isn't Mario Kart.
I know, that's terrible, that's terrible. I had to try and feed in two puns into one there, and it didn't really work, did it? One Rocco leads the way, Matt Tibos in second, Tom in third. Yona, by the way, has caught Tom now, on the up towards 130R. I wouldn't be surprised if Yona actually dive bombs the move in towards Casio Triangle, because look at the run, he's going to get to the inside line. I'm an absolute genius. Down the inside line, Yona gets the job done. He's into third. Didn't even need DRS, but he has got DRS anyways. Tom now going to fall backwards. I think, now, Noisy is going to be the big target for, obviously, Tom. Noisy will, obviously, get onto the back of him, but Yona has now put Tom, pretty much, a gap between himself and the next quickest car on track, which is Noisy. Yeah, that was smart from Yona. He's into third, Tom there in fourth, Noisy there in fifth, and Yona now got clear track. He's got Matt Tibos ahead of him, and I would not be surprised if he actually tries to get the move done again at the Casio Triangle if he catches very quick.
Yeah, this just gives Yona a little bit of breathing room. Having a car in between him and Noisy, he can now just get his head down, make the gap, make the moves ahead of him of Matt Tibos and Juan Rojo. So, little bit of a sector 1 yellow flags. That is, I think I've cursed him saying Neymar spins. I'm probably going to get some stick for it in the chat after, I reckon. But yeah, no, normally this isn't a night that we see Neymar spin. He's normally up there fighting for the points. But he's still in, 25 seconds down, and he's gone for another spin. But we'll have to keep an eye on Yona, as he is now within a very nice DRS overtake situation, as he is now 3/10 behind Matt, and he literally has reeled him in, and he is now going to go for that overtake down into turn 1, and he is going to go for it as he goes. He is literally no problem, no issues there, and that is Jonah up into P2. He is now 9.2 away from Juan Rojo, who is on 15-lap mediums.
And I'll tell you now, Storm, Nosy has got absolutely no pace on those mediums at all. Because Yona now, we'll have a look at the gap to the leader. I'm sure Yona's pulled out nearly 2 seconds on Nosy. He has. It's 3.5 seconds, the gap. 3.5 seconds. Let that sink in. Yona, when Noisy come out the pit lane, it was 1.8. He has doubled the amount of time between himself and Noisy, the next quickest car basically out on track, and Noisy is struggling on those tyres with ERS issues as well, because Nick Houston behind is obviously saving up his ERS. Noisy is having to use up and do basically the donkey work out on track, and he's obviously trying to catch Tom and Matt Tibos. Yona's now got 2 cars between himself. Matt Tibos and Tom don't come in the pit lane for another couple of laps. Noisy's in real deep trouble, and Nick Houston and Simply Superman might try and capitalise on that.
Yeah, as Neymar in the pits, I wonder if he'll be going for a set of softs.
Mediums.
Mediums. I'm surprised he didn't go for softs with 10 laps left on the race left. As he is now just over a minute down. But yeah, no, it's kind of a tricky situation now for Noisy, because he's not going to be getting the race lead today unless there's a monumental incident involving Jonah, which I can't see happening, as he is literally on a storm of it. That's no pun, by the way. No, it's a fantastic day over in Japan. It might be a little bit overcast, but it is all smiles from the Dutchman at the moment.
Yeah, definitely so. There's a bit of chat, by the way, going on in the F3 race. Drivers chatting under the safety car, which is never a real nice thing to see. Hopefully, if you're watching F2, if you're racing in F3 and you happen to be watching F2 just for my commentary or Storm's commentary, then don't do that, because potentially there's going to be penalties coming your way. One Rocco though out on top, Yona in second, Matt Tibos in third. Matt Tibos though, I'm really impressed by his about his pace that he's actually got on those 16 apple mediums. They're going to be in a race between themselves basically. It's only One Rocco I think that has got a real significant chance of actually trying to get a good result out of these guys, but he continues on. 18 apple mediums. Noisy though, side by side with Tom down the inside line. Bit forceful that from Noisy, and Tom trying to go around the outside. And actually, this is going to open a whole can of worms. Tom's in the pit lane. Noisy is through, but now Nick Houston is right on the back end towards number one, and Noisy there in fourth. Nick Houston in fifth, and Noisy just lost another second basically because of that. Yoga's on the back of Simply Superman, pulls the inside of two, doesn't get the move done, and One Rocco leads the way. Yona in second, Matt Tibos in third, and Noisy now he's got clear track in front of him. Can his pace obviously increase? Because it just looks like, compared to 2 laps ago, Noisy's gained around 5/10 per second on Yona, so I think Yona perhaps is just saving something back for the end of this race.
Yeah, it looks like that way. We may have a spectacular finish here, as One Rojo is at 9.4 seconds in front of one QRT Yona, and Yona is going to have to maybe start running that time in. But with his pace already showing that he has incredible pace, I can't see in the final 8 or 9 laps that time can't come down. But he's got to have maybe a little bit of a thing in the back of his head that Noisy is only 1 position still of round about, I'd say, 2-3 seconds behind. So yeah, it's going to be interesting final, maybe 5 or 6 laps.
One Rocco's still not coming in the pit lane. One Rocco is still not coming in the pit lane. This is making me think that there's potentially rain coming to the end of this race. That's the only thing I could think of that sort of gives the excuse that drivers might be coming in for like rain tyres basically toward the end, because we've got enough laps. The rain, if it comes this lap around, if there is going to be rain, if it comes this lap around, it's got to wet the track in 2 or 3 laps. You've got lap 22, and you're going to be 5 laps into basically to the end of the race. So it all depends. I can only think One Rocco, unless I'm just being completely and utterly, I'm coming up with theories out on track. But One Rocco leading the way. The gap though was 9.4 seconds. One Rocco has got serious pace tonight. He's in clear air. That gap has stayed stagnant the last 3 laps compared to him and Yona. Yona's pulling away, but he's not really pulling away because Matt Tibos and Noisy are staying that same gap as well. So it's a bit of no man's land. Tom, by the way, is on a sort of soft compounded tyre, so that's any indication it's going to be softs to the end of the race. But One Rocco and Matt Tibos, just interesting for me that they haven't come in the pit lane just yet.
No, maybe they might just be trying to push that little bit extra, see how far they can create a gap, as they know that obviously they have to make that pit stop, so they don't want to be dropping too many positions. And yeah, looking at Yona, he's just lost 5/10 in sector 2, I think it is. So he's not really gaining much at the moment. He's still 9.4, 9.5 seconds as Matt is in the pits. Matt has opted for the pits. One Rojo has still not made a pit with 7 laps to go.
Overcut strategy, has to be overcut strategy now for One Rocco. Matt Tibos is going to be nowhere near. It's One Rocco. If he comes out potentially in, I think he'll come out in 10th position. I really think he'll come out in 10th position. But if he's ahead of this train, which has fallen over each other, Bray, Jonas, Ray, Nathan Clark, if he comes out of this train, he's got a good chance of picking up a potential top 3 finish here. One Rocco doing a phenomenal job. He's still beginning to pull away from Yona, and Yona is the one beginning to struggle out on track. And I thought there was rain coming down through the deckers there, but there's not. Yona there in second, Noisy in third. Noisy is gaining time. Yona's stuck in a rut. He cannot go anywhere. He's got the ERS. He hasn't got the pace on those tyres, and it's almost as if the softs are much better than the mediums, and One Rocco was waiting as many laps as possible to come in for that set of soft compounded tyres and try and capitalise on the overcut strategy, which I know is quite potent around here. But you can tell One Rocco is now using up his ERS. He's got 0% coming through 130R. This should be the pit stop from One Rocco as he picks up a 3-second penalty. As I come in, he has to come in the pit lane now. Surely he stays out still. One Rocco stays out. This is unbelievable. He leads the way still. 9.1 seconds. Gap is closing down slightly. Jona's picked up the pace this lap, luckily. But Juan Rocco's still out in front, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is he doing still out in front?
The only one thing now that's left is a safety car.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Or even a VSC, if it came out literally as he was pitting, it would be, because it's going to reduce, half his time in the pits. So yeah, he is literally holding out for something. I hope he just remembers to pit. That would be a mistake, I think, if he didn't. But yeah, he is playing a bit of a different strategy to everybody else. It may be a strategy that might work, but we are going to find out as we've got 6 laps left here in Suzuka.
Nathan Clark solo over the back, coming through the deckers on the back of Ray, potentially going to get the move. Oh, he was nearly late on the brakes there into the back of Ray. Luckily got the car stopped though in time. Nathan Clark's got so much pace on these set of hards, he's going to try and go all the way around the outside in towards Spoon Curve, but he's going to wait in behind. Think probably his best chance is down in towards 130R or down in towards the Casio Triangle section, but still, Juan Rocco hasn't came into the pit lane, went an extra lap. Is he coming in the pit lane this lap around? Yes, he is! Finally, he comes into the pit lane. 6 laps it's going to be on this set of soft compound tyres. Where is he going to come out? The guys, I think he could possibly come out ahead of Bray here, but it's going to be very, very close. If he comes out behind Nathan Clark, don't worry, because he's got pace. Juan Rocco will have pace. Jona now leads the way. Noisy in second, Nick Houston in third. Juan Rocco's going to be nowhere near Bray, I think, but he's going to be right on the back of this train coming out the pit lane. And look, he's going to be around 2 or 3 seconds behind coming out the pit lane. Nothing to write home about there. But Juan Rocco, 3 seconds. Those softs are going to be 2 seconds quicker than the set of hards ahead of him, and a second and a half quicker than the set of mediums. Juan Rocco's going to be absolutely mincing through this field, surely.
Yeah, he is, especially on them soft compound tyre, and he'll be one to watch as we get ready for the final 5 laps here in Japan.
Yeah, Juan Rocco there in 10th, 2.3 seconds off the back of Nathan Clark, but that gap is going to continuously come down. Jona, though, it is the owner show once again here in Japan, and it looks as if he's going to be getting more of a championship lead over Simply Superman, who's there in 4th and has struggled in terms of his pace. Nathan Clark again is on the back of Ray, coming through towards Spoon Curve. I am desperate to see Nathan Clark try and get a move down this part of the track, because he's been on the back of Ray the last 3 laps now, and he still hasn't went for the move. Those hards obviously are going to come into play. He feels that the mediums are not going to get to the end of the race, or there's a potential threat of rain at the end of this race. But if there is, there's no chance. Ray goes on the grass there slightly, coming up the hill and towards 130R, but Nathan Clark is not close enough this time around. It's Jona that leads the way. Noisy in second, Nick Houston third, Simply Superman fourth, Jorgen fifth. That is one battle. Bray, Jonas, Ray and Nathan Clark, that is another battle. Juan Rocco's going to be added into that mix very soon as well, and you've got Tom and Matt Tibos in a separate battle for at 12th position, coming through Casio Triangle as well. We'll go on board with that now, because it looks the most poignant to possibly get a move done here. Matt Tibos on the back of Tom. Tom, though, I think is probably going to get this move held in towards turn number 1. Matt Tibos closing. Doesn't go for the move. Waiting behind.
Yeah, as it's coming through to the final few laps, as Nathan Clark's actually done quite well on the hards, up in P9. Yeah, so it's all still to play for, as half of my top 3 prediction is actually quite on spot on, just round the wrong order, as Simply Superman is the only one that maybe had to make that happen, as he is 5/10 behind. Nick, maybe I'll have to throw this question to James. Do you think Simply Superman can get that final podium place and make it an Aston Martin 1-3?
Yep, because I think Noisy and Nick Houston will begin to fall over each other, and that's why I think that battle's probably going to happen very soon indeed. Juan Rocco, by the way, purple middle sector, all the way on the back of the train. Thomas spun, though, coming through Spoon Curve, but potentially could close a safety car or VSC, but it is lap 24, so I don't think it is going to be the case. Jona, though, leads the way. It's Noisy in second, it's Nick Houston in third. I'm still on board with this battle, though, with Juan Rocco on the back. I don't think he's going to get the move done. There's another yellow flag in Sector 1, and he's not, and Nathan Clark actually lets Juan Rocco through. Weird. Juan Rocco's through and he's into 9th. Nathan Clark just gets out of the way. Free position. Through and he's into 9th. Weird one, that.
Yeah, yeah, that was a bit of a weird one. Maybe he felt that he couldn't match it, the pace, as James has seen something that's caught his eye.
Yeah, he just nearly went for half spin. Did Juan Rocco actually coming out of the Dunlop curve, just before the Dunlop curve, coming through turn number 6, and look at him, he's all over the back of Ray now. Goes wide, and that is not going to set him up nicely. He's pushing too much, I think, Juan Rocco at this point. Doesn't want to send it from this far back. Nearly in the back of him. Oh, as Nathan Clark actually taps the back end of him, coming through the hairpin, and now that spawns maybe a three-way battle because Ray, Juan Rocco, and Nathan Clark are all falling over each other. Bray and Chonas have been let to go away out in front, and it's Yona that leads the way. Noisy in second. Yona can control this race now right to the end of this race because it's been another stunning, dominant drive from Yona, but everything, as I will come back to that point, Noisy and Nick Houston, for me, they'll fall over each other. Simply Superman, I think, might get second. And I really hope he... Well, I hope he doesn't, because of my prediction. But I really hope he does, because Aston Martin will just assert their dominance, of course, in the Constructors as well.
Yeah, this is a very good evening for Aston Martin, as they could be either looking at a 1-4 or a 1-3. Also, a good day at the office for Red Bull, as well, as they will be looking for a podium and a top 5 position.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, the Red Bulls, I think, have over-exceeded themselves tonight. I was not expecting Noisy and Jorg to be towards the top end of the field. They're 2nd and 5th. Jorg has come back alive, I think, tonight. Noisy more especially so. Both of them have been, I would say, slightly underwhelming the last couple of weeks. But this is the race where Red Bull can come back, and Noisy and Jorg have proved that, because not only did they do very well around the last time we came here, and Noisy and Jorg is doing a good job. 2nd and 5th position. Juan Rocco's just sent an absolute ridiculous dive bomb down the inside of Ray. They ghost inside of each other, and now Nathan Clark side by side with Ray needs to give up the position. Otherwise, there's a penalty coming Juan Rocco's way, that's for sure. And I think now he has to try and back off Ray. Ray's trying to go around the outside into the spoon curve. On board with Nathan Clark, and Ray gets forced out wide. And Juan Rocco's through, and he's into 8th position. Nathan Clark into 9th. Everyone ahead, they'll begin to fall over each other. Jorg's made a mistake, I think, though, coming through spoon curve, and he's now 1.5 seconds off, so Jorg's made a mistake. Noisy and Nick Houston look like they're going to fight out for second. Simply Superman is there for the taking. Juan Rocco, though, he has to give up the position, because I think he'll pick up a penalty as a result.
Yeah, as maybe one more final push lap from all the drivers, as it is lap 26 of 27. Jonah leads the way with Noisy in second, Nick in P3, but he's got an ever-potent Aston Martin behind him of Simply Superman in P4. TTG Jorg is in P5, and that is your top 5 with 1 lap to go. No, 2 laps, as you've got lap 26 and 27. I'm not with it tonight. It's not my night.
Don't worry, it's not like Luke Etheridge, who literally turned around and said, what was it? Oh yes, the final lap, it's like literally getting towards the final lap of the race, and it wasn't. We still had one more lap, and yeah, that was quite funny. I think I was in TTML F1 last season, actually. Yona Low out on top, Noisy second, Nick Houston in third. Nick Houston now, all of a sudden, looks all over the back of Noisy. Noisy has got 19% of ERS, Nick Houston's got 36%, so pretty much double the amount that Noisy has got at this time. Where does Nick Houston, though, decide to go for this move? I think it'll be down in towards turn 1. Simply Superman, though, is wasting all of us ERS away, and necessarily that's going to be a disadvantage now to possibly gain on the back of Nick Houston and Noisy. But if Nick Houston can back... Oh, Noisy can back up Nick Houston enough. Simply Superman could be there down towards turn number 1. Do not rule this out at all. Yona leads the way onto the final lap of the race. He's going to get DRS from Neymar as well, which is quite nice. Yona leads the way. DRS enabled onto the final lap of the race. Noisy in second. Nick Houston in third. And I think Nick Houston is not going to be close enough on the back of Noisy. There's a spinner through the final corner. In fact, he is. Nick Houston to the outside line through turn number 1. Doesn't do the job, and he picks up a 3-second penalty for his pains. That's a little bit like karma, to be honest, but Nick Houston there second, still in third. Noisy there in second, and Nick Houston's opportunity for a podium is now squandered because Simply Superman is going to be on the podium, as Juan Rocco is fighting side by side with Chonas. The two Williams are going side by side, and Juan Rocco I thought was going to go around the outside of turn 5, but he doesn't.
Yeah, as it is now the final lap, as we are looking at one Rojo. What was looking to be a good race will be now on 6-second penalties.
He's going to go for the move, I think. Maybe to the outside line. Not quite. Yeah, remain as they are. But Yona leading the way. He has looked dominant. Don't I use this word too much, I think, in TTML F2. But you have to credit him, because he's been really dominant tonight. He is on his way to another win. Doesn't want to weave down the straight. You've still got... What about if you pick up a 3-second penalty at the Casio Triangle? Do not weave, for goodness sake, because anything could still happen. He's run out of VRS. Noisy and Nick Houston, though. Potentially one more last chance for Nick Houston into the Casio Triangle. Not quite close enough. Yona, though, ran the final corner to win a very uneventful Japanese Grand Prix. Noisy there in second. Nick Houston in third. But Simply Superman gets awarded that. Jorg in the end is fourth as well. So Jorg jumps ahead. Chonas and Juan Rocco collide with each other. Come across the line. I think Juan Rocco was on the inside there. I'm not sure if there was a photo finish in that. We'll get the timings up at the end. But they finished 7th and 8th, it seems. Ray in 9th, Nathan in 10th, Yana in 11th, Matt Tibos is going to finish in 12th position, and Tom is going to finish in 13th. Neymar's already came across the line as well. But Yona out on top, Noisy second, Simply Superman in third, and to be honest, it's the top three that we kind of come to expect.
Yeah, and if I was a betting man, I think I would have took me winnings this evening, as my top three were on there, maybe in the wrong order, but they're up there. And yeah, what a fantastic race from Yona, Jorg, and Simply Superman. As it's another Aston Martin P1 with one Rojo on Driver of the Day. And this is the actual part where me and James can't agree to disagree. We actually have to agree to a Driver of the Day.
Yep, I think personally, Driver of the Day. Oh, it's difficult, because I thought Juan Rocco drove a really good race there, but I think some of his moves maybe just... do you know what? I'm going to go Yona. I know it's the boring choice, but I'm going to go Yona. Dominant, likes the flag victory, took pole position, didn't get the fastest lap though, so no Grand Slam for him. I think Yona gets Driver of the Day. I know I'm probably be biased and I'll probably get comments about that in the comment section, but yeah, Yona, for me, Driver of the Day. Even though I thought everyone else drove well, I thought Yona was excellent tonight.
Yeah, I think looking at the race, I think, yeah, one Rojo could have been up there, but yeah, I think if you're looking at it, yeah, you know, did Yona put a foot wrong this evening? Not at all. He, you know, got qualifying nailed on, he got the race nailed on, and he takes the race win. I'll hand you over to James for what will be the provisional race results here in TTML F2.
Yep, Yona taking the win from Noisy in second, Simply Superman in third, and I think that gap now was 11 points. I think it's now 21 points coming into next week, of course. Yona wins, though. Noisy second, Simply Superman third. Jorgen, Easton, Braid, Shonas, Juan Rocco, Rain, Nathan top 10. Then Yana, Matt Tibos, Tom and Neymar, who all finished under their own accord. Break FM, the only DNF out on track. And Neymar, of course, finished a lap down as a result. And I didn't see actually what the timings were between Juan Rocco and Chonas, but it was quite close right at the end of the race there. But really good action out on track, of course. Yona taking the win. Noisy second, Simply Superman third. Shall we try and get the top three in?
Two of them have already left, I think. So you're only looking at Yona, I think, because I don't know if Jorg does interviews. I don't.
Noisy does. Noisy's still here.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Noisy's still in the lobby. Yeah, Noisy finished second, obviously.
Yeah, I keep thinking Jorg was second. It's because they're both Red Bull.
Both Red Bull. Yeah, both Red Bull. Just being tagged in an F2 message as well. Noisy said interviews, otherwise I'm heading straight to bed. So there we are. I will send them a message now. Send them a message now. But that was a really good race, of course, in Japan. I've got to say, though, Storm, that was rather uneventful, to be honest, given that we had no VSCs or safety cars. Perhaps most boring race of the season?
Yeah, it's very hard because obviously the drivers, you know, they always want to, you know, make you know, the races as eventful as possible. But yeah, I was surprised maybe a safety car or a VSC didn't come out. Maybe a little bit of rain could have spiced it up, but you know, nevertheless, the drivers still put on a fantastic show tonight.
Yeah, really good. Are you adding them into the party, by the way?
I did that last time and it all went wrong, so I don't want to attempt.
I'll do it then, I'll do it. It's absolutely fine. We'll get the top 3 in. I know Simply Superman is normally not available for an interview. We'll get everyone into the party now. I need to remind myself of actually who was in the thingy, but I'll see if actually I can get them on Play Together, which would be so much quicker. I can get them on Play Together, which is good. Hopefully they're all there. There's Simply Superman. And there is Noisy. Right, top 3 are going to be added in. That's the quickest I've added the top 3 into a party. I think we're going to be sent over automatically into the new party. So, there we go. And really hope you enjoyed, of course, the race. If you did, of course, you can follow the stream. You can subscribe, of course, if you are brand new to the channel. And you get, of course, and it's 20% off, of course, if you subscribe with Amazon Prime to Twitch. But what we can do, though, is speak to the man who finished in P1. Of course, it is QRT Yona. And Yona, dare I say it, you're making quite a habit of this season. Talk us through it, because that was rather an uneventful race.
Uneventful indeed. Not much happening. Just a bit stressful pit stop period as always, but I came out very nicely, and because of two guys on the older mediums, I didn't lose any time overtaking them both. I caught them at the right time. And managed to get a very very good gap to keep me calm, you know, and just went cruising home on a solid pace.
You did, and you had really solid pace, I think, throughout the race. Was there any point where you thought Noisy could actually get you? Because you put Matt Tibos and Tom between you both. And it looked like neither of you, halfway through the race, had any sort of pace, like halfway through that medium stint.
Yeah, I mean, my initial thought at the start of the stint was also that Noisy was quite good on this track, and I wasn't like fully confident at that point. But as soon as we got further into the race and the gap stabilized a bit. I just considered myself a bit lucky with the traffic, I guess, and managed to get the strategy right. I think that's the point where I won it on today, because pure pace-wise, I don't think I was the best one on the grid today.
Well, I'll contradict you there, because that qualifying lap was actually quite good, 27.9.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's true.
Contradict you there, I think, to be honest. Storm, I'm going to come across to you, though. Any questions?
Is Noisy here? Is he? I didn't hear him talk.
Noisy is here, I believe.
Yeah. So my question is obviously for TTG Noisy. You saw obviously your kind of rival today, which was Yona, kind of making that gap to you. But did you see yourself on the podium? Did you feel like you had the pace today, or was Yona just too fast?
Nah, like in the first stint I was like, yeah, Superman's dropping a bit. So I was like, yeah, this is not really optimal, because Superman was falling behind. He was derating at some point, I think around lap 5 already. He was already derating, lap 5 or 6, don't quote me on that exactly. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna lose like touch with Jonah. And then when the pit stop came, it was a bit unlucky that I was just behind Nick. So I had to stay behind for a lap, then fortunately overtook him, which was crucial in the end. And then I just had really good pace first stint. I think, like, I don't know, I just felt those mediums good, but then I came around 1.5 seconds, I started feeling dirtier. I still came up to, I think, 1.1, but then my tires were starting to overheat a little, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need to cool them down, because I was just losing time. I was also, my only warning was on that lap. So yeah, I was like, I need to cool down my tires and think about the long game. And then Jonah like got further away. Then that traffic came, which really didn't help. I think I've easily lost a second there, just because of that. And then, yeah, in the end, I was starting to close up with like a 10th and 10 for 2, and then lost a 10th, and then, you know, and I was like, yeah, I'll maybe try and put some kind of pressure on him to get that penalty, but I don't think he was even close to that. But,
I almost had it, mate. I almost had it.
Well, so yeah, to be fair, when I came into this race, I didn't really think this, but yeah, I saw qualifying and was like, yeah, it's on the cards, and I went for it.
Yeah, and this is actually a question for both of you. Both Red Bull and Aston Martin had a good day at the office points-wise. Do you see the final races this season, yourself and your teammates battling a lot more through the final races this season, or do you think it will be a little bit more different?
Oh, you can go first.
The question is if I'm gonna keep fighting with Simply?
No, if you're going to be battling more with the Red Bulls, as obviously they had a good day to hear.
Yeah, I was just looking at the standings. They're like 80 points behind, so I mean, constructors-wise, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
constructors-wise, I'm
more on track.
Yeah, well, I'm closer to Simply than I am to York, and with the amount of races we have, let me see. I missed one, that's for sure.
4 we have left.
And we have 4 races left, and I miss Mexico. I think I'm pretty sure I miss Mexico. So I have 3 races to go, and my gap to Noisy is just too big for him to pull that back in that one race. So if I just keep the 3 races I do the rest of the season, if I keep them clean, I outscore Simply, I must be good.
Yeah, I think you proved that you are good tonight. Also, you mentioned that there's not many races left, and obviously yourself missing that one race, which will be late on the season. Question, obviously, to both of you: the final races that are coming this season. Any tracks there that you maybe feel that are your favourite ones? Obviously, you mentioned Mexico being there. Do you like that type of track, or do you prefer a technical track like Japan?
No, I would have liked Mexico. I did a very good PSGO race as well there. I feel really strong. Don't like Austin that much.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm gonna fight for the win, but don't like it that much. And Monza's gonna be interesting with the format as well. And then to end at Sao Paulo is always tough. Sao Paulo is always tough. Just have to be the smartest, I guess. I can't seem to recall why I missed a race. Oh yeah, I know. I gotta be a referee.
Terrible. A man of many talents.
I feel really bad that you won't be there at Mexico, because as James know, I love Mexico.
He does.
I most of the time I was on the podium or I was in dead last, one of the two. But yeah, I like Mexico, but only thing is, like, I can't prepare any of it because it's in the middle of my exams I have. So it will be a little less preparation. I'll probably hop on always, like an hour before max. But yeah, to be fair, I only like Mexico so far. Austin is alright, but Monza, first of all, I don't like it, and in sprint qualifying I always get taken out. So yeah, I really don't see anything further. But yeah, I'll just take it race by race. I got nothing to lose in the championship, so I can put more pressure on than the other guys around who are fighting for the championship.
Yeah, and just a quick mention on F3 this evening. It looks like NSR Pariah has either ended up as a race winner, as a podium, as in the chat he's showing the Daniel Ricciardo shoey. I presume you guys tonight won't be doing any Daniel Ricciardo shoeys. But yeah, thanks for both of them.
I need to work in the morning.
I'm gonna sleep immediately because I gotta work 9 hours again tomorrow. So
we'll let you both go, and thanks for joining us this evening. And I'll hand it back over to James.
Cheers.
Yeah, I was gonna say Yona already had his shoey moment when coming home at 5 o'clock in the morning earlier on in the week. But there we are. Both of you go and enjoy your evening.
Yeah, thanks.
Cheers.
You too.
You're very welcome indeed. And that rounds off the interviews very nicely indeed. Always good to see insight from both Noisy and from Yona in terms of the interviews, so thank you very much for that. And I'm going to click on the F3 stream and actually tell you what happened in terms of the result there in F3. First of all, I need to like the stream. If you haven't done that, of course, you can do on YouTube for F3. And I can tell you that... yeah, Pariah picked up a podium. In fact, it was Tam that won by 7 seconds. Legend in second, Pariah in third was the front three there. If I've just ruined the result for any of you that might be watching F3, just maybe cancel this stream at this point and just quit it, close it down. Yeah, but there we are. That rounds us up very nicely, though, obviously, for TTML F2 tonight. More action to come, of course, tomorrow, F4, tomorrow with Pariah and Buck taking to the action, of course, that is 8 PM UK time. If you want to watch something before that, however, IFR Esports Cup finale is on tomorrow at 6:45 PM UK time. Yours truly will be there by himself, so come and join me if you want to, and if you're not racing at that time, aka Storm in one hub, of course. Good luck on the race.
Thank you. I've got Abu Dhabi, so...
Oh, it's Abu Dhabi. I mean, it's Abu Dhabi. It's not a bad track, but it's Abu Dhabi. But yeah,
it was Belgium last week.
It was well, two bad tracks in 2 weeks, I think that is then. But there we are.
Yeah.
Obviously, as I say, the IFR event, there is a potential for obviously EML relating to the IFR event. IFR have announced that they're going to be ending their team, the F1 side of their team, after the IFR Esports Cup event. So that potentially could mean that IFR, who are leading the championship going into the final race of the season in Abu Dhabi in EML, might not race. And that potentially could mean that TTG actually win the championship either by default, because IFR will not field the team for the final round, or because they're going to be kept in the standings, which I think will probably be the wisest thing. It's still going to be a battle between them both. Hopefully they both field the team, though, and IFR can turn up there, of course, in a month's time in Abu Dhabi in May. But just to bring you up to date speed, obviously, on that one, TTML F1, by the way, is also going to be live on Sunday night. It is going to be myself and Pepsi Freak taking to the action, of course. No Miami Grand Prix, but just to give a bit of a heads up for the TTML F1 guys, there is a likelihood that the race perhaps could start a little bit early on Miami Grand Prix Day, because I think it's 8:30 UK time start, if I'm not mistaken. 8 o'clock UK time start, yeah. So we'll probably end up maybe bringing forward the race, I would say, by half an hour or so 6:30 UK time, I would say. The TTML, of course, that's at the discretion of Funky Chicken, but that's just my opinion on things, certainly, because it will go around, 15 minutes into the end of the TTML F1 race, so it makes sense just to bring it forward, I think, a little bit of time. Just a pre-warning about that. More action to come as well throughout the week, and more TTML action, of course, to come both on the Racing TV and on Twitch next week as well. Storm, though, I think we've already mentioned him. Who is your driver of the day?
QRT Jonah, I think. I would have given it to one Rojo, but obviously with a few moves that may... go into the stewards. I've seen one that's already gone into the stewards. So yeah, I think Jonah is driver of the day. And also, anyone living in the UK, enjoy the 4-day weekend again, as it is a bank holiday on Monday. And yeah, that's it from me.
That is it, and that's it for me as well. Hopefully you go enjoy your evening, of course, and hopefully you will be tuning in, as I say, to TTML4 tomorrow night as well, and that's going to be both on Twitch. So, thank you so much for watching. From myself and Storm, I've messed up the exit here. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.